Richard. How are you, my friend?
I'm really good. I'm really good. I know you've been like crazy busy the last few days. I was telling you only yesterday how tired you sounded over the phone. So I appreciate you getting on. So let's talk about this Saturday. Obviously, we've got the Gym Junkies have our big training coming this Saturday, and you are the man. You are the spotlight's on you, my friend. Last time we did the training, we had Eddie as the keynote speaker.
Oh, he did a great job. Yeah, that was awesome.
He was awesome. He was awesome. And I like that format of him being at the beginning to give the whole flavor of the thing, being excited, and then kind of finishing off at the end. And this month, obviously, with all of the skill sets that you've shared with the team, I'd like to kind of, get more out of you than we usually do. We'll get 20 minutes here or half an hour here. But I'd love to give him a flavor of what you're going to be talking about. Obviously, we've got a lot of stuff going out there. I never talk about, never name it because I don't want to validate it. But there's some stuff going on out there, and I know you've got some really strong feelings on that. What can people expect from you this coming Saturday?
Well, like all your events, which are fantastic. I mean, you put on the best events, bar none. And this one will, of course, be the best yet since I'm the main speaker. But like all your events, we've been planning for this for a while, long before the thing that shall not be named, right? Long before that. And we could never have known this was going to happen. Mm-hmm. Yet it's amazing how timely our discussion is going to be. That being said, because I'm a strategist, and you hear me speak a lot about, I'm always talking about the reason why. I think the reason why is more important than the what. And I think that means a strategy is strategy drives it all. And I'm a strategist. And so my message is the reason why and why we do the things that we do. And it so happens that now that this thing is going on, it even brings on more importance, because it is the strategy that is literally saving businesses. Here comes my smoothie. Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Thank you. Cheers.
That couldn't have been more perfectly timed. That's awesome. I think this switch from offline to online was obviously happening anyway, but it was a gradual move, and people were kind of, watching the 1% occupy that real estate of where the eyes are, and the other 99% were kind of going over there. And then all of a sudden, the world went plop and put a catalyst in there and then said, well, you've got to go from offline to online like that. And so we've kind of been, the whole thing has been brought to a head really quickly now.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because, I've been doing this for a long time. And obviously I've got a lot of clients that love the idea of flawless follow-up and what that means, and the concepts that go along with that, the types of strategies that you'll have to tune in Saturday to hear about, because I'm not going to give away the secret right now. But the bottom line is this. For the past several years, many people, I talk about these concepts of flawless follow-up. I talk about the importance of building your list. And every business says to me, every one of them agrees with me. Oh, you are so right. That is so great. I always want to do that. I'm going to do that someday when I get time. I'm just too busy. Well, guess what? A lot of those people have a lot of time right now because their businesses are closed. And the businesses that have built the list are still operating. One of my main clients, who is definitely a non-essential business, his retail store is closed, but his business is up 192%. Why? Because we've had that list and we've been building it. So it's not like I want to say, too bad, you're out of luck if you haven't done it, but the bottom line is, it's not a luxury anymore. It is now necessity. And this is why my phone is ringing off the hook and everything is blowing up for me right now, is because these are the things I've been doing for 10 years. Mm-hmm. In fact, I got in this position because I was a victim of the last crisis. When the housing market crashed, I got fired. Before that, I was in the travel business on 911. Guess what? I'm always right in the middle of these crises. But this time, I safeguarded myself. But this is where the economy is going. This is where commerce is going. And you need to be there. And we'll show you the way. So come Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, there are obviously, our heart goes out to those who are struggling right now. Obviously, it's a very difficult time. We completely get that. But it's never too late to dig your well, right? The best time to dig your well is before you're thirsty, right? But we're thirsty now, so build your well now, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. And really, what you're doing is you're talking about.
Sorry, this is killing me. I'm sorry. Hey, go on.
With the whole thirsty thing, is that what it was?
Yes.
So we're not going to talk about strategies right now, but bottom line, you know, we're talking about a few things here. Obviously, people are needing to pivot a little bit, and that's the kind of the key word: pivoting and new normal and all this type of stuff. And people are doing that, of course they are. But it's really about, but it's about building your list, right? About, you know, the list you've already got. I mean, obviously, some of us have got a list here. You know, put it somewhere where you can use it, right? Build the list that we've got, and then adding to that list with, you know, with all of the marketing techniques and stuff that are out there. And then, well, what do I say to them now I've got the list, right? It's kind of like this, that's a very, very simplistic thing. But I know for you, so it's about building a list, because for you, we joked about this earlier on, you know, you've got a list that's so big that if you've got a big bill to pay, you just send out an email. And because your list is so big, even if your sales are not very good, it's still enough numbers to pay that bill, right?
You know, some people are hunkering down. And so because of that, my conversion rate is down. That means that every time I do a webinar, every time I do an email, you know, I might not get as many sales from that webinar or that email, but it's very easy for me to just do more of them, right? And let me back up and say, because again, that could sound like I don't want this to sound bad, because the important thing is to deliver value. So when I say do another email, do another webinar, okay, there's more work, because I don't just take and do the same thing over and over again. That means I have to provide more value. Every time I do that, I'm coming up with a message that provides value. Otherwise, nobody listens to you. If you just email for the sake of emailing,
Sure.
I don't care how many people you have on your list, nobody's going to open your email and read it. So you always have to be providing value. And we'll talk about that on Saturday.
Your biggest talking point is at some point the lockdown is going to be over. We don't know if it's next month or it's 2 or 3 months from now, but it's irrelevant when it is. It's you know, what's your thought and approach from that perspective?
Well, you know, I've been talking a lot about what I call the looming pile up on turn one. Okay, this is what I first started talking about 3-4 weeks ago. And it's like when you're watching a car race and you're at the start line, and all the cars are getting staged and they're revving their engines, and the light is getting ready to change. They all can't wait until it turns green. And when it does, they all floor it. They step on the gas and they all get to the first turn at the same time. And there's a big pile up and everybody crashes into each other. And many of them are disqualified. They're out of the race. Their cars are totaled, except for the people that got to the turn first, right? They sailed through. They're in the clear. Most of their competition is out of the race. And they just circle the track and lap everybody up and win the race. Right. All right, now that is what's going to happen. And it's funny because I've been talking about this for weeks and weeks and weeks. When everybody started talking about the negative stuff about it and everything else, and I started talking about, hey, this is not forever, folks. This is not forever. Okay, this is a reset. This is a reset. We've seen them before. Again, I talked about the housing crisis 11 years ago. We had the 911 before that. We had the tech bubble before that. Okay, many of us that are our age, you know, I graduated from college in '86, and the '80s and the '90s were pretty good here in the U.S. All right, so when I got out of school and I got my first job, until the tech crash of '98 and '99, things were pretty good. We only knew this. We never experienced anything, you know, any rough stuff. All right, then the tech crunch happened, and then 911 happened, and since that time, man, it's been rocky, right? And so many of us weren't prepared. I lost it all. I lost it all after 911, and I got fired, and that's when we moved to Texas, because I'm from Chicago. We were in Chicago. We literally came here to start over because we lost everything up there. We wanted to come here to be closer to my wife's family, and so they could help a little bit because I travel for a living, and you know, that was back in the days when I was stupid and in the corporate world. But and I thought I was stupid because I thought that was security. I love what you're going to be talking about having a plan B. Man, that is right on target. I mean, I'm so glad you're talking about that on Saturday. And the bottom line is, you know, I want to share with you the strategies that I now have learned, having gone through this. And like I said, this is just a reset. We go through this, and it is a reset. And people are going to be hurt. You need to be ready when the lockdown is lifted. You need to get off to a fast start. And I want to say one more thing. I know I was watching an interview with Mark Cuban the other day, And much of the interview was very upbeat. Mark Cuban he's generally an optimist, right? And he said he has no doubt in the world, A, we're going to come out of this, and B, this is the part that I love, it's going to be the entrepreneurs. It's going to be you and me and the people that are all going to be there Saturday, okay? For only $25. It's going to be those people that lead this next great uptick in the market, this great recovery. It's going to take a recovery, but it's going to take entrepreneurs like you and me. He also said that you're going to see 25 or 50 very big companies. 5 years from now, there's going to be 25 to 50 very large companies that got their start out of this, okay? They didn't exist before all this. And
right.
5 years from now, they're going to be name brands that everybody knows. But what he didn't say as much of is what you and I know. There's going to be millions of people like you and me that are going to create new business for ourselves, new business helping people, new business serving the needs of this great market reset.
Steve, thanks very much for coming on the call and talking about it. I mean, to summarize, for those of you who are watching this, first of all, Steve's been doing this for 11 years. He is truly expert at it. And for everything we've been talking about, for those who get off their butt and get to the training on Saturday, you'll have a much, much stronger chance of being one of those ones who survives, one of those ones who's not cast aside. Steve's going to talk about how best to pivot, what should we be doing right now? But more importantly than that, how are we going to make sure that we're ready for when the lockdown goes away and we've got to avoid all the pileup. Other speakers we've got Mark Delgado. He's going to be talking about growing your network and growing your list. We've got
super guy.
Yeah, he's awesome. Great leader. David Lee, which I know you're a big fan of. David Lee.
Great marketer.
Oh, incredible. He's going to be coming up. He's going to be talking to us about lots of different business strategies, again, that are very targeted to what's going on out there in the world right now. We've obviously got our very own Mr. Hat himself, Jeff McKissick. He's going to be talking about he's going to be talking about how to
he's fantastic.
No, he's awesome. Well, he's a pro at the time, but he's going to be talking about how to build a reputation by being a giving person, by being kind and giving, and how that can actually be, first of all, good for obviously the people on the receiving of that, but also for your own reputation. And then obviously, Steve, we've got yourself, and we do have a special guest. We have the #1 income earner from royalty, Kawan Mayo, who's going to come on. I don't know what he's going to be talking about.
But I'm looking forward to that. Kawan is unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. But Steve, thank you very much for getting on and letting us know what we're going to be looking forward to this Saturday. I will be there with my notepad, as I always am, taking notes. I'm just going to give you the final word, and then we'll sign off.
It's an amazing value. Absolutely be there. I'm looking forward to it. And look, we want to change lives. That's the whole point of this.
Fantastic. Guys, thank you very much for listening in here, and we will see you all on Saturday. I'll be back with some other interviews between now and then. But Steve, thank you again for getting on, and we'll be seeing everybody on Saturday.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks, everybody. See you Saturday.
All righty. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.